Hi, I'm Kathy from the Delafield Quilt Company. I've got another little project to share with you, and that is this little bunny pillow. Or you can make a little mini quilt out of it. I hope you enjoy the video. So a few things that we need to make this little bunny pillow first is the little bunny pattern. I will put a link for this in the show notes. This is a free pattern template that you can get on our website. We're also going to need some fabric. I'm going to be using Gentle Feather from Art Gallery Fabrics as kind of the main fabric, and then also some Cotton Candy Pink that you see for the little nose and the inner ears, and also Snow, also by Art Gallery Fabrics. So the total quantity in fabric that you need, which will vary depending on how big you want to cut your pieces, is about 5/8 yard of that Gentle Feather color or a tan, 1/8 yard of pink, and 1/4 yard of white. I am going to turn this one into a pillow, so if you wanted to make this a pillow, it's about a 22 inch by 22 inch finished pillow size. You need about 1/4 yard of binding for this, and then some fabric for the pillow top and backing, and then some fabric to put on the back of the pillow top so you can quilt it, as well as some fabric to make the sleeves on the pillow, and that's about 1 yard total. And you also need a pillow form insert. About 18 or 20 inch should work fine for this size. Okay, so I've already downloaded my patterns, and this is using the foundation paper piece method. And I actually already did all my little bunnies. I'm not going to go too in depth in how to do the paper piecing because I've got a lot of other videos on our channel that shows how to do foundation paper piecing. I'll put a link to a few of those in the show notes. So if you want to learn more about foundation paper piecing, please go check those out, because I share my tips and tricks for working with foundation paper piecing templates. So I've already done 13 of these little bunnies, and if you're curious of what that process looked like, I will just show you a little preview here. Okay, so now that I've got my 13 bunnies done, and these little bunnies do measure 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches. That's unfinished, and then finished they will be 4 inches square. And then I need to make sure I cut my squares. I'm going to cut these at 4.5 inches square as well, and I need 12 of these. I'm also using some border for this as well, and I cut that at about 1.5 inches, so I have 1 inch finished border on this pillow. And then to lay this out, I'm going to have 3 bunnies in the top row, separated by one of our 4.5 inches squares. And then for the next row, I'm going to start with a square, then a bunny, square, another little bunny, and finish with a square. And then I'm going to repeat this a few times. So I have a total of 3 rows that contain 3 bunnies and 2 rows that contain 2 bunnies. Okay, now that I've got my whole little pillow top all laid out, I'm going to go ahead and sew this first by rows and then sew the rows together, and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, I got all my little bunny friends sewn together with their corresponding blocks. So at this point, you could either stop and just make this into a cute little quilt, or you could do what I'm going to do, and I'm going to turn this into a pillow. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to quilt this top, and then I'm going to come back and show you how to make that pillow. Okay, so I've got this top all quilted, and now let me show you how to make this into a pillow. So I'm going to set this little guy aside. I know that he's 21.5 inches square at this point. You might want to double check the measurements of your pillow top. Then we're going to need 2 rectangles of fabric that are 21.5 inches in length, and then 14 inches in width. And basically what we're going to do is just create an envelope or a pocket for the pillow form to fit in. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to fold and press 1/2 inch and then 1/2 inch again on both of these rectangles, just on one side each. May be helpful to draw a line. I'm going to draw my line 1 inch in on one side. Then I'm going to fold it to that line, and then I'll fold it again and press it. So I've got my line here. I'm just going to fold to that line. And that should give me about a 1/2 inch for this first fold. Then I'm just going to fold it one more time over. And then I'm just going to repeat that on the other rectangle. And once you have both folded and pressed, then we're going to just do a top stitch right along the very edge just to seal this fold down. All right, I'm going to bring back my quilt top, or my pillow top in this case. I'm going to turn it upside down. And then I'm going to take my 2 rectangles that I just did top stitching on, and I'm going to put that open part, the part that's exposed, so it's right side to the pillow. And I'm just going to line up these 2 pieces so that they overlap probably about 4 inches. I want to make sure they're lined up on the edges of the pillows. Now that I know where they're going to be placed, I'm going to put a few pins just on the 2 rectangles. I'm not going to do the pillow top in here, just to kind of keep that together. Same with the other side. And now I'm just going to do a basting stitch essentially right, probably about 1/8 inch from the edge, just so that these 2 where they overlap, it kind of just keeps them together and seals them together. So again, just a basting stitch about 1/8 inch from the edge from both of these places where I pinned. All right, I got these 2 tacked together with a basting stitch. Now I'm going to line up again on the back of the pillow top. Make sure all my edges are lined up. And then I'm going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around the pillow top, including the backing. Okay, I've got all the sides sewn down so both the rectangles now are attached to the pillow top. And now all I need to do is put a binding on it. And I'm going to bind this just like I would any other quilt. And I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done. And then after that, I can just stick a pillow in here. And I've got myself a little bunny pillow. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing and visit us at delafieldquiltco.com. Have a great day.